So we just looked at how we can source prospects from a conceptual point of view. Now we're going to actually dig in and look at a real life example from start to finish, how we would go about sourcing prospects, identifying the ideal customer profile for a company, and the various buyer personas that we want to sell to at this company. So again, the ideal customer profile here is really just defining that customer that we want to go after, that prospect that we want to start to research. And we're going to be as specific as possible here, looking at the customers or the prospect's industry, number of employees, revenue, geography, pain points, anything we can infer about this customer. So we're gonna use our example here, Canary Technologies, to look at from scratch how we would do this if we were an SDR at Canary. So really quickly before we dive in, a quick reminder on Canary. They are a hotel technologies company. They're a software company that sells to hotels, and they sell them a mobile app that allows customers or hotel guests to check in without having to stop by the front desk. Their app is the room key. It's how they pay for things at the hotel. It really is a full mobile experience that eliminates the need for person-to-person interactions at a hotel. So we're going to dive in and we're going to think about if we were, let's say, an SDR at Canary, or let's say we're interviewing for a Canary SDR position, and we wanted to land this SDR job. You know, an exercise that they might give us during the interview process is something like, hey, pretend you're an SDR here and you're prospecting for Canary. How would you do that? How would you identify potential leads for you to go after here at Canary? So we're going to do that from scratch. Now, how are we going to do this? Well, to define our ICP, the best place to start is always looking at your existing customers, existing successful customers. So we want to see who are we selling into today that's happy with us, that's doing good, and that we could potentially model future prospects off of. And then we're going to go and research these companies on LinkedIn. We're going to start to write down the common attributes of all these companies that we sell to today, our current customers, so that we can create this ICP. That's really what we're doing here. We're creating an ICP from scratch. Once we have that ICP, then we can go out and find new companies to research, new prospects to sell to. So let's start there, and then we'll come back and we'll do the buyer's personas. All right. So starting from scratch here, we're going to start on Canary's website. So we'll do this from the lens of pretend like we're interviewing with Canary, and during the interview process, they've asked us to go ahead and come up with an ICP that we think Canary has and find additional prospects that they can go after, or that you potentially would go after as an SDR. So I always start on any company's website and go to the customers tab here. Almost every website will have a customers tab either at the top or it might be down at the bottom. Let's go down here, it might be down here, customers, we can get to the same tab. And when we get here, we can see that Canary has a lot of customers actually. So they've actually even laid out some case studies for us. And we can read all of these case studies and see other companies that Canary is sold to. That's awesome. So what we're going to do is we're going to start to look at all these different companies, and in their case, they're hotels. We're going to look at these hotels. We're going to see if we can find some common attributes across these different hotels. So again, I'd start on the customers tab. When you get to the customers tab, all we're looking to do is find common attributes of all these different hotels or customers that they sell to, and then we can build our ICPs, and then we can go find more prospects, more customers for them to sell into. So let's start here. Let's start by just opening up some of these case studies and taking a look at what we got. All right, so we look at this first case study. This is Made. It's a hotel in New York. We can see that one of the New York's top boutique hotels eliminated fraud and front desk lines. So maybe that was their pain point, fraud and long desk lines. We can see who they sold to, Eric, the general manager. Well, let's remember that. We'll probably come back and use him as our buyer persona later. Awesome. So we can start reading about the hotels. It's one of the top boutique hotels in New York. Let's see. So we know Botiquel in New York. What else do we know about them? Looks like they measure like size of company, maybe by keys. All right, let's keep looking. What I'd like to do is just skim a couple of these and then come back and dig into them. So they sold to Sue at Pinnacle Hotel Group, much larger hotel group. It looks like 1,800 keys, 9 properties. Vice President of Finance. She was trying to make her team more efficient. Okay. If I skim this, I'd see that their current process wasn't PCI compliant and put their customers' information at risk. So maybe that's something around fraud again. That's 2 things we've seen about fraud. Oh yeah, here we go. Canary in 3 words. Simple. Anti-fraud. Awesome. Let's look at one more. Cambria Hotels. 1 property, 177 keys. It's they sold to the general manager. I see security again. So we can start to see a couple patterns here. So what I would do about this time is I would start listing these out in a spreadsheet. So I'd come in here, I'd have the company, or in this case the hotel, location, the type, we'll get back to that. How big is this per company, the keys, properties, website, as much information as I can. I'd start listing this out and try to find some commonalities. So let's do a couple of these together. Canary has literally laid out it all out in front of us for us. We can come down here and click into the person's LinkedIn that they sold to and go right there, but pretend like we didn't have that. What we can do is pop open LinkedIn. We can, let's use this Made Hotel. We can grab the company's name, LinkedIn, throw that in the search bar. We might have to go to companies right here. If there's no results, no worries. Let's go backwards a little bit. Sweet. Okay, found it. This looks right. Alrighty, what do we got here? So we got 11 to 50 employees, New York, New York. 108 room, boutique hotel. Okay, cool. So I might start filling this information out. And lo and behold, I've already done some of this for us. So we got Made, they're in New York, single location. Meaning it looks like it's just one hotel in New York. And I've just kind of listed out some of the website and LinkedIn information so that I can come back to it at a future date. Let's do this for a couple more. So let's see what else we got here. I'm interested in Pinnacle Hotels because they're a lot larger. I'm curious to see what they look like. Pinnacle Hotels, based in San Diego. So it's a growing hotel management company located in San Diego. 500 to 1,000 employees, so much larger. Okay, cool. And maybe let's do it for one more. Let's try this last one. Cambria. So actually, I'm just going to shortcut this because Canary's given it to me. I'll click on Sue's LinkedIn here, or Lacey's LinkedIn. Scroll down. So I actually don't see Cambria unless one of these companies is Cambria. Maybe this company owns Cambria. I don't know. I see Lacey, but not finding much with Cambria. So that's okay. Sometimes you strike out with some of the information. No worries. We can just keep scrolling through. I had another one of Canary's customers open up here. Let's check out them. Classic hotels and resorts. Cool. Go to the About tab. All right. Classic hotels and resorts. 1,000 to 5,000 employees. So much larger. Maybe again one of those hotel management companies. They probably have a bunch of hotels all over the country. That's cool. So I'm seeing kind of some patterns here. One, I'm seeing that they sell into both single location hotels and maybe hotel management companies. I'm seeing that, well, let me just show you what I'm seeing because I've already done this. I've scrolled through every company on Canary's website that I could find. So all of these case studies here, let me just show you so that you understand the process here. All of these case studies I scrolled through. I went and researched every one of these companies on LinkedIn. And then I scrolled down even further and I had some other hotels. They gave me quotes from each one of these hotels. Quotes from each hotel, quotes from each hotel. Sweet. So I took all that, I threw it in a spreadsheet. And what I see is a couple things. I see location-wise, a bunch of companies in New York, a bunch of companies in California, some in Arizona, even one in Canada. I see a split. There's 8 companies on this list. I see 4 of them have single locations, means it's just single hotel, maybe like a boutique hotel. And then 4 management groups that potentially own a handful of hotels across the country. And it looks like the size of all these range in like the 100 rooms to 2,000 rooms range or so, which in LinkedIn that translates to about 50 employees to maybe upwards of 1,000 plus employees. The other thing I started noticing as I'm going through all of this is that it looks like they primarily sell into like higher end boutique type of hotels, not like your random hotel on the side of the highway. But these are like higher boutique hotels. I'm guessing that's probably because these hotels care about customer experiences. So that is how we would start to define the ICP. So if I had to define the ICP of Canary right here, right now, just looking at these 8 hotels, I'd say it's hotels located on either the West Coast or the East Coast. So that's California, up and down the West Coast, or probably maybe Northeast, I'd say. Either single location or management groups. High-end luxury kind of boutique hotels is probably their target market. And anything under, I'd say, 1,000 employees. There's some bigger ones down here, but it looks like primarily under 1,000 employees. And that's how I would define Canary's ICP. Next, we're going to look at how do we define their buyer persona, and then we're going to go do some prospecting on our own and find other potential customers for them to reach out to.